Hello, everybody. Happy Monday. Welcome to our January 22nd call. You guys are in for a real treat this evening. If you are brand new to our call, we want to just say welcome on behalf of myself. I'm Brandy Foss and my NMB body of Jamie Kinsey and Jamie Mercer and Karen Richards and Megan Martin. We want to welcome you. And tonight, you are going to just hear from one of the very best in our team. And that is Miss Karen Richards. And she is just going to pour into us in regards to social media, because we know in today's world, being a part of social media is probably a pretty good idea. I know she keeps me on my toes with it. So for those of you who don't know Karen, she's a wife. She's a mama of 3. She's a personal trainer. She's a health coach. And what I really, truly love about Karen is truly her heart, how well she loves others. So at this time, I just want to introduce her if you don't know her. And you guys sit back, relax. I hope you have a pen and paper in hand because you're going to want to take notes. So,
well, thanks,
Karen.
Thanks, Brandy.
You're welcome.
So I'm definitely a person that likes to answer questions. So as we're going through this, if you have something, feel free to throw it in that chat. If you look at the bottom of your Zoom, you can take your mouse or scroll, however you're doing it, and you can hit on that chat and ask a question. And then we'll leave time. I really want to leave a good 10 minutes for Q&A. So we're talking about social media. Like Brandy said, and I am always on her, that is true. And I always tell people, if Brandy Foss can do this, you can do this. So all of you, you can do this. The biggest things that I think is important, just that you want people to think of you, right? When they're searching for anything healthy, not necessarily just Juice Plus, but when they're struggling with something or they need ideas, you want to be the first person that comes to mind for them, right? And so there's so many ways you can do that. I am going to talk about the specific algorithms that Facebook has changed. I've seen a lot of stuff out there, and while there's a little truth to it, there's so much more to it than that. I've been on Facebook so long, I'm just going to say this. I got in trouble with corporate when I first started Juice Plus because I'd already been on Facebook so long that when I was posting stuff, they're like, yeah, I don't think you can post that. And I was like, okay. They give me a little call and be like, I don't know if you can say that. I'm like, no, you really can. Because I used to be a high school cheer coach. Another thing that Brandy and I have in common. And that's the only way that my girls wanted to communicate with me. They made me a fake profile because you had to be, if some of you remember, back in the day, you had to be in high school to be on Facebook. And their parents used to complain when I texted them because it cost them money, right? So I'm sure some of you can remember those days. So we started a Facebook group, and that's how we used to communicate. So there's so many ways that you can put your message out there. And we really encourage you. The first thing is, especially when we get new people, they're excited and they want to go out and be like, I'm selling Juice Plus. But we really want to get people on like a Zoom launch for you. We have these great Healthy Living Revolution. And so you can put out their teaser images. I know Jamie Kinsey's dropped a lot of them into our Facebook group that we have for Empire, and just share with people that you're doing something new. We always want to be kind of mysterious, intriguing, things like that. And it's also going to be with the new Facebook rules that are coming around. If you post a website, because Facebook's goal is to keep everybody on Facebook. So if you post an external website, even say it's a YouTube video, sharing something about a product, it's not going to show up in all your friends' news feeds. They're going to try to make sure those don't show. So the best thing you can do, for instance, is, let's say you do have a great YouTube, a lot of us share, say, Eric Worre into your team pages so you guys can learn from him. That's a little bit different. But say you want to post an Eric Worre video on your Facebook. The actual way to get it seen even more would be to make a great post about it, what you want to do, and then put the link into the comments below, because that's going to automatically give you one comment. And the more comments you have that are back and forth interaction, that's how things are going to get seen. So I'll talk a little bit about that in a second. Instead of saying, I love my Juice Plus, You might put the capsules in your hand, which many of you do, and take a picture. You might put the gummies in your kids' hands. You can be drinking your shake out of one of those awesome black Shred with the Empire shaker bottles that many of you have received. So things like that. But again, you want to not put out like your Juice Plus website. Anytime you link that on Facebook, they're going to try really hard to make sure that doesn't get seen. So your posts are not going to show up for people. So just be, thinking about that. And so I like to send it in a private message. That's still fine. My rule of thumb is to try to go above and beyond when I am posting on something. And so one thing you can do to up your presence on social media is always reply back to people. You can tag them. I am learning more and more that most people don't know this. So I'm going to show you a couple things on if I can share my screen here. I think it'll come up. Okay. So I did not do it on this last post that I just commented. My son, yes, it's wine drinking because people know me, know that's what I do. But my son just brought home his senior year schedule. So what I'll do to some of these people that I really want to talk to is like, this was his second grade teacher. You can put the @ sign on there, and hopefully you guys can see this. When you do that, it lets you tag them. And so I think that's an important tool because then they're going to make sure it shows up in their notifications. Sometimes you can comment back to someone and they don't even see it. But the way Facebook is going to recognize it is back and forth interaction between two people. So she's commented to me. I'm going to comment something back to her. I probably actually won't do it right now. I'll think of some great thoughtful thing I want to say. But what I'm going to do is try to ask her some kind of open-ended question so that she'll comment back to me again. So the more you can get those comments going back and forth with people, the more Facebook is going to make you a relevant source and your stuff is going to show up, and your friend who you tagged, that's also going to show up in their news feed. For instance, have you ever seen a post where it might say, Brandy Foss liked this comment, or I see that a lot, my different friends in Juice Plus. Jamie Kinsey liked a comment on Brian Rose. So you're like, wait, what is it? It doesn't tell you what the post is. You got to go see what it is. And so the more you're tagging your friends within, that's something I did on a post I did tonight too, it was something about drinking coffee. And so instead of tagging those 3 people in the actual post, I wrote a comment underneath it and was like, oh my gosh, girls, I'm so glad that I'm going to have you, something like coffee makes you immortal. But I tagged them in the comment, and then one of them got back to me. So from Anita, do you always have to use the @? Yeah, that's the only way to tag somebody when you're writing in a sentence. Now, here's the other thing. When you're writing a sentence now on Facebook, if you put the @ sign right away, so if I was going to start a sentence back to Anita, I would not go Anita Altmeyer, because Facebook is going to launch that into a private message. So I want to say like, hey, in front of it, or thanks for your comment @Anita. So Brandy says, can't you use their name? Yeah, you want to. So you put the @ symbol and then you start typing their name. And so it's going to pop up that way. Does that make sense? Could you guys see what I type, like when I put @ and then I started typing Dawn on that lady's thing? So let's see. I find when I pop in general, it pops up. Yeah, sometimes it does. Sometimes it doesn't. I don't know. But I always do that just to be safe, especially on my phone. For whatever reason, sometimes I think there's so many mobile updates that I find it depends on what it is. So someone put, yeah, exactly. Depends on how updated. Anytime your Facebook needs an update, sometimes it doesn't work. And I find that my Facebook needs an update like every other day on Android. It's just constantly updating. So the other thing is if your Facebook is acting kind of wonky and you have updated it, make sure you've restarted your phone, and that goes for all your apps. If you don't restart your phone, then the updates don't take. So is it necessary for IG tagging? Yes. Yeah, same thing goes on Instagram. And the same thing goes on Instagram, that sometimes it will spit you into a private message. I went to tag my mother-in-law under a picture of my son playing basketball yesterday, and I didn't think anything of it. I just put @Joe Richards, and it automatically took my whole post and sent it to her as a private message, which is fine. It doesn't matter, but that's not what I was intending to do. So that is something new, and if you're updating, that's going to happen. So make sure you're maybe saying a couple words before you go into it. The other thing that they're doing is, and you may have noticed, you're seeing less and less ads. Have you ever done that? Like you're on Amazon, because I'm on Amazon a lot. And I'm on Amazon and I'm like, oh, I got to buy my daughter new dance shoes. And I look at some dance shoes and then I go to Facebook and all of a sudden there's the dance shoes like right there on the side. I'm like, okay, you're stalking me, Facebook. So you're going to see less and less ads. They're really pushing those business pages to have all their advertising on that. So that's another reason why we want to avoid branding. So when you are putting out there, not your personal, like if you have your own, you're a health coach, you're a personal trainer, you might have a business name, you still want to be careful of that. But big name brands like Juice Plus that has an actual big Juice Plus page, if you're putting out pictures of capsule bottles, my understanding in the beta group I'm in is they're going to start slowing that down. And that's one of the things I noticed with Facebook the other day, or not the other day, but right before Christmas, and now other people are catching on. I must have seen at least 70 Juice Plus people post, there's a new algorithm to Facebook. So if you can see this, please comment below. Well, what happened is all these Juice Plus people commented on other Juice Plus people's posts. So now we're all tied together. And so I didn't comment on any of them, and I still saw them because they were people that I knew and that I tend to talk back and forth with. So be leery of stuff like that. If you see someone's post, most of us don't mind if you borrow some verbiage, but change it. If I put something about the Shred 10 and you like what I said, you just know you're welcome to take it. You don't need to post underneath because that doesn't help either. Hey, Karen, can I steal your post? Yes, steal it. Or if you want to take someone's stuff, something from it, like private message them and ask, do you mind if I use some of your verbiage? Don't put that right out there because, well, it's just not good practice. But by copying and pasting, I see that a lot. You, again, are tying yourself into that same community over and over. And so Facebook is going to bundle all you together and they're not going to show, because they think that you want to be together. And so they're not going to show your post to your actual friends in your newsfeed that you want to see. So I hope that makes sense. So always make sure you're changing up that verbiage. Sometimes I see Jamie post something, I'm like, oh, that's really smart. I would like that. But I may actually take the concept. I'm going to use a different picture. Because one thing that drives me insane, why do people use other people's kids? No, like that makes no sense. I wouldn't put the Voss children or, somebody else's kids on my post unless I was with them doing something fun. People are going to know it's not your hand. People are going to know that are your friends. That's not your counter. Like, oh, when did Karen get a marble counter? That looks beautiful. And then they're like, when did you get that counter? Oh, it's not. I just yank somebody else's Facebook post. So make sure you're doing stuff to let people know that that's you. It's authentic. Maybe I know Voss girls are super cute and I have used them in pictures, but I was with them. So, things that I think anytime that you can smile, anytime, this is the one time you want to show a selfie. This is the one time that you want to put your kids out there. Now, I also, though, when I use my children and stuff, I change the posts. And so I don't know if all of you realize you can do that. So you have to pay attention to that, though, and go back and forth. But some things, when you are posting, hopefully you guys can see this when I do it. Can you see, or do I need to bring that up again? Can you see that I'm making a post? Brandy's shaking her head, yes. Okay. So right down here is that little toggle that says public. There's a lot of posts. And many of you can see my posts, but we're Facebook friends. So anytime I meet people, I put them into categories. I'll show you how to do that. But I do a lot of posting here. Friends accept acquaintances. I mark a lot of people as acquaintances. Like sometimes in business, you're just going to, Facebook friend someone because you want them to see your business posting, or maybe they're a prospect, but you don't know them really well. So they can see your public post, but if you're showing a picture of your baby in the bathtub or your daughter at the beach, maybe you don't want them to see that. So I post that and I change the setting. You can also do it direct by clicking this more button. You can send it to specific friends. So you can see my last post had specific names on it. It's because it's all the girls that I know that live in Phoenix. So I was asking for a recommendation of a restaurant, And I sent it to those people because we were planning stuff for conference. And I don't want all of you to get that surprise spoiled by seeing all the things they answered back to me, so that, we get there. You guys all get to say, oh, I had the most customers with my NMD, and I get to go on that awesome Saturday experience. And you didn't get to see the research part that I was doing right here on Facebook. Or if you're selling something on Facebook, you can specialize it to your area, things like that. So that's one thing. The other thing I do is I make lists. So I'll go to, Brandy. I keep using Brandy as an example. Yes, I can leave this page. So I categorize my friends when I make them. So here's one thing I do with my team. I star my team and I make them my close friends, especially when they're starting out, because I want to help them with their posting. And, I want to cheer them on. I want to be in relationship with them. I want to get to know their families and, what is their why, what's driving them, and make sure those are matching up. And so I want to see their posts. So I mark them as close friends. Let's see. I think there's a chat. Do I make all my Juice Plus posts public? Yes, I do. I make them all public. Some of them I make specific. I will say that if it's a specific, like an event in an area, I might do that. Send it to a couple people on Facebook. Anyway, so when I come here, you can now do this on your phone. You didn't used to be able to do this, but the last several months you've been able to. You can categorize your friends. So this is how I'm saying I categorize those people I don't really know really well. I make them acquaintance. And so that way when I post, friends without acquaintances, except acquaintances, they don't see my post. You can add them to another list. So I have a lot of lists here. I know people because I used to work at the center in Rolla. I know people I went to health coaching school. I have my class reunion. I love that because I actually plan my class reunion. So everyone I went to high school with, I can make a post and send it to that list, and they're the only ones that are going to see it. But, there's lots of things. Like I've marked, I met people at church. I've met them, certain people's customers maybe I helped them with, just different things. So however I know them, that's how so they can be in multiple categories. So that's just one way. And so I do have one that's prospects, and I can send to that list. Like if I find something specific that I want to send to that group of people, I will send it specifically to that prospect list. Or I can go to that list and try to find them. If you've ever done it, and some of you may not have done this on your phone, and it's something I did start doing when I couldn't find some of the people that were dropping out of my news feed. It's like, oh, where did she go? I haven't heard anything from that person in a really long time. Do you ever have that? You're thinking about maybe a high school friend, and so you're like, I used to see their stuff all the time. Well, it could be that now you're commenting on all your team shake posts, and it's one thing to cheer on a couple specific people, but you don't necessarily want to comment on every single person's Juice Plus post, because then they're going to show up in your news feed and vice versa. But when you get on your phone and you go over to, well, at least Android. I don't know about you iPhone people. We'll let Jamie Kinsey train you on that. You go over to the far right, there's 3 little lines, and it brings up like favorites and recommendations, fundraisers. It's got like all your lists. You can actually go through your teams, the groups that you're in on Facebook is in here, but you can also get to your feeds. So I scrolled quite a ways down because I went through my groups and I went through my pages I run, and I got to feeds, and you probably can't even see this, but there's one that says most recent, and underneath it says click all. So if I click all, like for instance, I used to work at the Y. If I clark the YMCA, it'll bring up that feed of everyone that I've checked in my YMCA feed. So I'm only seeing actually like 7 people, but that's one way that I know that I can get in there and find those people really quick and get to their stuff. And those are people I want to interact with. So I'll comment on their things, and then I'll go back to my list, because I do try to set a timer and do some intentional posting a few times a week. Or the dance moms. I have a list, for the dance moms with my daughter. So I'll click on ADE, and that list of dance moms will come up, and I can go comment on all their stuff really, really fast. And I'm not having to type their names in, find them, comment, come back, do it again. So let's see. On my Facebook, I don't see the friend levels. Well, you have to create a list, Beverly. Like everybody is set up to have close friends and to have acquaintances. Everything else, you have to build a list. So you choose, like it'll say make new list, and you can create categories. So I haven't gone back and put all my Facebook friends in categories, but especially the last few years as I've added them, right when I add someone, I put how I know them and I get them in that category. Because I do that on my phone too. You know, do they live in my neighborhood? So I do have a lot of lists, how I separate people. And by going into those specific news feeds, that saves me so much time. Because I think what happens with a lot of us is we just kind of start scrolling through Facebook and then all of a sudden 30 minutes has gone by. And we may or may not have liked something. We may or may not have actually commented on something. But the more specific, I'm all about time blocking and I'm all about organization and making things easier on myself. And so I would say if you took anything away from this, the biggest thing you can do is do that intentional posting. And if you can figure out how to do your lists so that you can find them in your newsfeed, it's going to go a lot faster. So I got 8:51, Brandy, so I'm going to stop there and say, oh, you know what? I'm going to add one more thing. I know in a couple weeks, we're going to have an awesome training about the Healthy Living Club. I can't wait. I know Amber Harness is doing a great job doing a lot of research for it. However, one reason that she's going to be bringing you that is the same thing. The groups you're in, you may have already found that you've been taken out of some groups, or if you have groups that are not active, people will not see them. It's the same thing. There's got to be comments going, and Facebook is starting to push people out of groups. They'll say, oh, well, you may have been in that group, but I haven't, you haven't posted in there. It's just like pages that you like. If you go and you like a page and all of a sudden you don't see it anymore, if you went and liked a page 3 years ago on Facebook and you're not interacting with it on a regular basis, you may be taken off that page. And it's not the owner of the page that did it. It's not the group leader that kicked you out. But Facebook, due to lack of interaction, is going to move you out of that. So can you go back to their page and comment to start seeing their posts in your newsfeed? Yes and no. You want them to comment back to you. So if you go comment on people's page, that's great. But what I like to do is then take it one step further. If it's someone I'm intentionally trying to get in a relationship with and they have a new baby and I post, oh my gosh, that baby's so cute, I'm going to go to a private message too and be like, seriously, so cute, or just say something extra. Always take it up one more level, because then they're going to maybe come look at your page and comment back, and that's how that interaction will start. Good questions, guys.
Now's your time for questions.
And you can unmute too. You don't have to type it in now if you want. There's so much that, we're just talking Facebook. We could go on all day. If you do not have the Edge Theory, if you're not using that, I would highly suggest it. It just makes things so much easier.
I have a question. When someone adds you to a group and you have no idea who the group is, how do you get out of it?
Leave the group, Dieter.
How do you do it?
Well, you just go up on it's usually on the cover photo right underneath. It'll say, and it actually gives you options. There was this one group, and I think she was one of my former cheerleaders. She re-added me 4 times because I think she just kept adding people. So finally I've started, when I leave a group, I click the little box that I can't be added back in.
Oh, okay. See, like this?
Maybe.
Yeah, really.
I don't know. You may have to just show me that in person since we live by each other.
Okay. Okay. I was like, I don't know who these people are.
Yeah, just click leave group.
Okay.
No questions?
Gosh, I guess they just all learned it right there. They're all social media experts ready to go out there and get in relationship with people.
Is it bad to say we're lost?
No. It takes lots of practice, Barb, just like anything else. But, social media is a great way to gain confidence sharing your story over and over and over. So, sharing your story can be showing someone that you went for a walk today. Sharing your story is that, you made salad in a jar like Julie's group did today, and she posted. So it really shouldn't be all Juice Plus direct talking about product anyway. We want to be a product of the product, and that's the healthy living revolution. So where do I find, let's see, Jess, where do you find your information on how to adjust to Facebook changes? Well, you just show up on good trainings like this with somebody that works on social media. You can actually, I mean, you can see some, if you go up on your own Facebook, let's see, I'll show you again. It's just like, lots of things when I don't know how to do something, you guys, I YouTube it. Like I did not have time when I got an Instant Pot to go through 8,000 recipe books and whatever. I just went, how to make rice in Instant Pot, and then I looked for the video that was the shortest. So, YouTube's a great place that you could probably learn a lot of Facebook tricks and tips. And this question here, quick help, you can go in here and learn all kinds of things, how to add a cover photo, how to make your activity log look a certain way. So, go in there and look in the help menu and just see. But there's a lot that you can learn just right there from the help menu in Facebook and on YouTube. So.
I found leave my group. I found it. I have so much work to do.
What's the Edge thing? The Edge Theory, you can sign up for that. It's a service. I think now it's $5, $10, and $15 a month. Jamie Kinsey probably can answer that better, but I'm signed up for it, and I just grab articles off of it and share with people. I don't even use it all to post on Facebook. A lot of the things I'm sending privately to people, but they do have relevant content, and that's what I like. So Jamie just put in the comments a link for you to get a discount on that. I bought mine before Christmas. They were having a huge Black Friday sale, and I got mine I don't know. I put it in the groups. It was 75% off. It was ridiculous. And I got a free, nice, water bottle from them. So that alone, those cost $30 in the store. So yeah, it's something that'll have news articles and things you can post on Facebook or Twitter or whatever. You just copy and paste. Or again, what I do is I copy it and then I change some of the words around so it sounds like me. Oh, and like Jamie's saying, they do have on the highest paid one now that you can make e-newsletters for your customers.
So you guys, I want to share with you, because I'm so great at technology, that today I actually made a list of 36 names from people who either commented or liked my stuff who are not a part of my Juice Plus circle. Which I was pretty proud of. That was a big step for me. And it's a great way to really get new contacts and start communication, right? Because if people are liking your stuff or commenting, they're interested in you.
Absolutely.
Well, there were lots of great questions.
Yeah, good questions.
All right.
Well, I hope you guys will all go out and interact with people that you have not talked to in a while. Go find those high school friends or old neighbors or church group or whoever it was and start some good conversations up with them, because that's how you fill your memory jogger.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, well, it's 1 minute till, so we're just going to end it because I know we have our elite calls. So I just want to thank you guys for gathering, and this recording will be posted inside of Empire, so please feel free to tag your people and share the recording with your team. Good night, everybody.
Good night.